Hello and good morning. Today is Monday, April 6th, and it would be a B day if we were still in school. And for today's topic, I want to talk about figurative versus literal language. My student's going to be starting poetry this week, and it's really important to understand the difference between those two things when you're starting to really talk about poetry. Oftentimes, when students dive into poetry, it can be a little confusing. And the piece that really makes it confusing is understanding that difference. Figurative language can be a bit of a struggle to get at first because of the nature of it. So I'm going to try to break those two down in a way that hopefully will make it a little bit easier to understand and start the week off talking about different figurative language techniques. So let's just start off with the easier one, literal. Literal language is language that is literally true. It is concrete in nature and is fairly straightforward, right? So a couple seconds ago, the gray fluffy beast was just walking in front of me. He is furry, right? Very furry. That is literally true. You can take that on face value. Now he's back up there bothering Optimus. He's very fluffy, right? You can see this. That's literally true. So that's what literal means. Oddly enough, a lot of times when people say something and use the term literally, like I'm literally starving, they're not being literal, they're exaggerating, they're actually using figurative language there. But literal language, true literal language, is very basic, straightforward, honest language, right? That's the easy part. Figurative language, though, means more than what it says on the face value, right? We have extra associations. We have to dive a little deeper to really understand what's going on with figurative language. So if we take him again, Loco, as an example, if I said last night my cat beat me up, I'm using figurative language. He didn't beat me up. He's trying to beat up Henry right now. He didn't beat me up, right? He weighs like 10 pounds tops. So I'm being figurative. I'm trying to emphasize and exaggerate something that, he was playing really rough. And I want to exaggerate that to use figurative language to show you how rough he was playing. So that is, a very basic example of figurative language. There's many different types of figurative language, and I'll try to go through a bunch of those this week. Metaphor and simile are examples of figurative language. Hyperbole, that's the example of him beating me up. Or when people say, I'm literally starving, they're using hyperbole, an over-exaggeration. So figurative language means much more than what it says on the surface. And it's done in a way to emphasize things or to draw comparisons or to highlight things. Poetry uses a lot of figurative language. A lot of writing uses figurative language. It's an effective tool. The problem comes when you try to analyze or understand things. If you don't quite really get the figurative language, it can make it a little difficult or cumbersome. So when you start reading poetry, look at the figurative language and really try to understand what's happening in it. Sorry about that. There was a low battery warning. That's what you got to do. You got to break it down and try to figure out what the author is trying to convey with that figurative language. So very quick breakdown on that. I'll provide examples as we go through the week and look at different types. Tomorrow on Tuesday the 7th, I'll talk about metaphor and simile. And hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have a great set of examples of figurative language, and it'll be that much more easier to understand it as a whole. Until then, I hope everyone's well. It's beautiful here today in New York, so hopefully people get a chance to, in safe ways and within reason, get outside in their yards or on their stoops or porches, balconies, whatever you got, and get some fresh air until the allergies attack, and enjoy. Be good.